So I think you can see here database administrator users roles here.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we jump into the database administration level, I need to give some privileged user level what the database administrator privileges are.
Yes.
Okay. Database administrator privilege is the one which is like a super user.
Yes.
We can delete it. We can we can revoke the permissions. We can give privileges. We can revoke the privileges. Okay. Whatever we want, we can do in the database. By default, our role is a system. Actually, database administrator role is DBA or system. I think you can see my screen here. Database administrator users.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So here, I think you have heard about instance, right, Dinesh?
Yes.
Instance.
Yeah, I have.
I think you have gone. Yeah. What instance means exactly? So.
Instance means it's in memory. When you create a process in memory to instantiate a process, a kind of a logical space you create to run something. It's an object you create. The memory.
That's what in the memory. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right, Dilpreet. Whatever you are saying is right. But can I add up some more things in that?
Sure.
What exactly instance is? Yeah. Instance is like it's a memory. No, it's not a separate thing or anything. It's not any functional. Instance is something a memory. Suppose we need to do some work, right? We need to do some work means our brain needs to work. In the same way, instance is the brain. Okay. When our brain is working, we can write some things in the book, in our notebook. In the same like, whenever our Oracle database instance is startup mode, okay, when the instance is start, it can able to write anything in the database level. Suppose now you are listening my class and you are hearing, because now your instance is startup. That means your memory part is startup. The same like it's like a human Dilpreet. Like whenever our memory starts, we can write something on our notebook. In the same way, Oracle, once instance starts, it can write something in the database. But we can say as a logically and scientifically, it's a memory of the CPU. Okay, it's not using, Oracle is using some part of the memory. That means if we are having 2 GB RAM in our system, we can define in the SGA level, like system global area, up to, we can see boss, I'm using up to, you are having 2 GB CPU in your RAM, so I can use up to 500 MB for my working purpose. That means for Oracle software has to be work. So to start the instance, to start the memory parts, to start something to do in the database, to do some functions in the database, we need to start some processes. So for these type of all processes, we can call it as an instance. I think you got my point, both Dilpreet and Dinesh.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly what it means. It's a part of a CPU memory, and it is used for to start up the database and to can maintain the database, to do anything in the database. For that purpose, instance has to be startup. So we can say instance is a memory level, and it is useful to start up the database and to do anything in the database. Okay. Any confusion in that?
No, none.
Very good. Yeah. Do you have, Dilpreet, any?
No, we're good. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. See, well, now I think you are able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here I think people can see the client server architecture level. So applications are connected to through network to the database. Okay, but that database, it sits on the server. Okay, we can call any OS operating system, you can take it. We can simply, everyone is having what server is. Server is nothing but a simple, it's like one operating system, it's like one computer, but it is having the more space, like more GB, more CPU part, more memory part, and at the same time we need to keep some data in that. For that also some shared storage is also there. So whenever we are having big high CPUs, high spaced parts, at that we can call it as a server. Very simple funda. It's not like it's a bigger one. So here we have, this is a two-tier architecture. Applications can connect to the database by using some network. I think you can see here, network and application and database. Okay, and this is a middle tier architecture. In a middle tier architecture, any end user, I think Dinesh, we have discussed regarding middle tier architecture, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's like end user can connect to the application server can connect to the Oracle server by using some TNS entry. That means TNS entry is the address part of the database, where the database sits on the server, in which location it sits. So to know the information of the database, where it sits, by using Oracle network, in which location it is stored, and in which location this particular database sits, and in which server the database it sits. So that is not the main part of the end user. Only the application server people and the database people will take care of these things. But only as an end user, you can connect by using the web browser, and this request any comes from the end user, it goes to the applications level server, and application level server, which it can be defined. Okay, this particular user is searching for which database and which information. So based on that, it will connect to that particular database information, and it will fetch the data from the database, and it will give it back to the end user. Right? Any confusion, Dilpreet or Dinesh?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I think you can see the spindle parts. Like before we are having the CDs, right?
Yes.
CD, normal CDs. In the CD, for what purpose we are using CD before? Like we need to keep some data in the CD, and we are using the same data in the CD, right? This is the like the same only. Here we can see the spindle parts. It's like a series, all the series. Here some green part you are seeing, right, in the data part.
Yeah.
Yeah, data part is the one where the data is stored in that particular disks, and these are the read rates, which if anything has to be read rate, or that means if we want to read anything, we need to fetch from the data, right? So you can see the other things also. While this disk is moving, like CPU, this particular CD is moving, and we need to fetch the CD, some information from the CD, like it is moving, like spindle part.
Yeah.
That's why it is like if we want to read any information or any data from it, it's like a spindle part. It keep on moving, and based on that we can fetch the data from there. So till now, any confusion?
No, I'm clear.
Yeah. Dilpreet, for you?
Oh no, very good, thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Harpreet, right? Sorry, I'm saying because I have one of my friends Dilpreet. That's why I'm calling you Dilpreet. Can we jump into the architectural level, Dilpreet? Some just bit idea I'm giving.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I said right before what instance is. Here it is showing exactly what instance is. Harpreet?
Sorry, what's that, Prabhakar?
What instance means?
Sorry, what's your...
My question is what is instance? We have to discuss.
Instance is basically memory. Allocation of the memory. Yes, perfect. So here you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. This instance is the one where it is a mix of both background processes and memory. Background processes, no need to confusion about background processes. Why we start up these background processes means it needs to do some work in the Oracle database level. That's why we are using some background process. What these processes are doing is, it will write the information from the end user, it will take the information from the end user, and if any end user is writing anything in the database, it will take the logs, like what end user is writing, and the log information it will store. All these things has to be written by, these things has to do some work, right? For doing these type of work, these background processes are required. So process is what? It is doing some part of the work in the database. For that, these background processes are started. And what SGA means? SGA is the cache. Cache, I think everyone knows, is RAM, memory part. So these are all comes into the SGA. SGA means it's a mix of all the things, where we keep the data, where we can store our things, anything like redo log buffer, shared pool. I'll completely discuss about more and more in what database cache is, what shared pool is, where redo log buffer. So we can start up our sessions completely. So as of now, any difficulty or any confusion to have both Harpreet and Dinesh? Yeah. So yeah, right. So our next sessions, what we need to do, what we need to go in depth is what is. I think you can see my screen. What is instance? Okay. What are the processes are there in the instance? And at the OS level, what are the CRD files? That means control files, redo log files, data files, and how the user processes are connected, and how user process is connected to the server process. And all these things we need to get into more and more in depth. But before that, we should start with the Unix sessions and the SQL sessions. Anyone is having good knowledge on SQL and Unix levels? Harpreet?
I have good knowledge on Unix, but not good knowledge on SQL. No SQL knowledge.
SQL.
Very
knowledge.
Very limited SQL.
Dinesh and Harpreet, if possible, can you guys? I will give some SQL notes to you guys as you go through once, and so that we can discuss further and further. Because it is a very mandatory thing, I think, because SQL is a very mandatory. We need to know how to fetch the information from the database. So basic level is the SQL level. So I'll tell you the SQL part also. I'll not simply jump into the Oracle, and I will not simply give you this is what. I need to show each and everything in a proper one by one step. We will go ahead. Like because I am giving the things like this is what memory, this is what no one can understand. But if I will show you manually, hey, this is what memory is, how this is startup, how this is happened, this is the SQL part. So once we can define each and everything in a proper and hierarchical way, so that we will get good knowledge on these things.
So Prabhakar, for a DBA, how much of SQL should we know? SQL can be vast subject, right? Vast subject, but one thing, we should know the vast subject as well, Harpreet. The reason behind this, now we are fine actually, we are going into the basic level. But if you go to the SQL tuning part, that means which SQL, which query, which row is sitting in which block, and we need to know. And because at the end of the day, our motto of SQL tuning is to reduce the timestamp. Because if the query is taking 20 minutes or 3 hours, 30 or 8 hours, 6 hours, it is not useful for the business. But we can reduce the time of the retrieving the data by using the SQL query. So in that way, we should write the SQL query in a very good manner. That's why SQL is very, very critical part, Harpreet.
Yeah, in fact, I want to ask the same question from
Yeah, because we need to reduce the more and more time, because how the way we are writing the SQL query, based on that it will fetch the data from the database, and it should be a minimized time. It should be minimum time. That means if we reduce at least 1 second or 2 seconds also, we are good actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the basic. That's why I'm just pressurizing you guys. Please go through SQL level part. That is very, very critical part, because I know as far as, because I'm completely in the tuning part, as I know what difficulty it is if we don't know the SQL. So well, thank you so much guys for being with me for this time, and hope we can meet in the next coming sessions. And I will give you my best if we meet it again. And can we wind up the session as of now?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Prabhakar. Thank you for your time.